Yo, we're back. And I just want to start this video off. We're going to continue our little journey here. And we're going to do a little update on our deck with Meria here. So we went to the local game store yesterday and hung out and played a cool Commander game with actually the owner of the store at Commander Games. It was really nice. His name's Gary, and so it was we had two Gruul mages. Me made three, so we had two red and green players, and then we also had Roger. He's an awesome guy. He was playing Orzhov, so it was a really cool matchup. I got to kind of see some of what cards they were running, so I got a couple ideas, so I do have some ideas, some substitutions that I'm going to be making. So these are the kind of the cards that I'm looking to kind of put on the chopping block, and I just want to kind of give like my rationale for this to an extent, and the cards that I'm thinking of considering about putting in. So I'd like to cut, first of all, I had a lot of mana rocks in here, and you can see this is a really pretty card, the Arcane Signet. And this is like a card that's used in Commander quite frequently in decks, where it adds 1 mana of any color in your commander's color identity, and it's kind of like a staple, and it's a card that is usually played. Now with Meria, she's an interesting commander because it basically turns any cost artifact from 0 to 10 into an Arcane Signet, basically, where it produces green instead of any color mana, but it will produce a green mana. So really this 2 cost is kind of useless in a way. It might get me ahead like in the very beginning, but I'm usually always playing Meria once I get to 3 mana. So the Signet is kind of, it's just not really a useful artifact. So another 2 mana substitution that I could play, and what I'm going to be getting is a Dowsing Dagger, which is a 2 mana artifact, and it's also equipped for 2 onto a creature. And once the creature hits an opponent, it turns into a Lotus Land, which means it becomes a land that can produce 3 of any color. That will get me really far ahead, and I think it's perfect for this deck. It's going to be fantastic. So Dowsing Dagger is going to be like a substitution, for instance, for like an Arcane Signet. I mean, this is a decent enough 1 mana artifact and equips itself, but the 2/0 doesn't really do much for me, the buff. And, you know, creatures tend to like not really die in my deck, so to speak. They shouldn't really be, as long as I'm, you know, moving around my equipment correctly, my various other types of useful equipments, such as like the sword, Forge and Frontier, which can grant like protection. So this spell is not really, it's okay. Yeah, it works for this deck. It's 1 cost and it pays for itself onto a creature to equip, but it's just, I could probably do better. So there is a card I have in mind. Let's see here. And of course, like I want to play more equipments that can, you know, give me lands and get me farther ahead with lands. So there is also another artifact called the Sword of Animist, and that could definitely be slotting in there as well. It's a 2 cost, not a 1 cost, but it is just it's a 2 cost, and it also equips for 2. And that the Sword of Animist can also start getting me ahead with lands, like basically as the Dowsing Dagger would, maybe at a slower pace, but still could achieve that. So that's what I'm considering there. And then I did see Gary. He was playing a card called Monster Manual, and that played really nicely. And I do have like a lot of big creatures in here, so I'm definitely be looking to add the Monster Manual as well. So I'm very excited to just, you know, this is a good ramp card. You know, I can get to 5 pretty easily, but I do also want to like have some synergy with my deck, and I make a ton of mana already. So Gilded Lotus is also going to be taking the chopping block. And Unlicensed Hearse is really good, like Graveyard Hate. So I'm kind of torn with it, but I mean, as a Gruul player, the games kind of go fast. They're not like slog fests. And this card, I'm just tapping it for mana anyways, you know, and I'm that's what I wanted, you know, usually to use my 2-cost mana artifacts in this deck for is to tap for mana. So it's kind of contradictory to have this kind of come down and, you know, exiling cards where I, from the graveyard where I really just want to use these for mana. So there is a card that I was thinking of. I believe it's some sort of, I think it's called Phyrexian, maybe Colossus or some sort of that, where it's a 6-drop, and it could basically grant my things indestructible, my permanents indestructible for the turn for 5 mana. So I'm thinking of that because, you know, I have like experienced kind of a, this deck is definitely like susceptible. Oh my god, I can't even say that word. Susceptible. It's susceptible to like cards like Bane of Progress, which is that card kind of just destroyed me. It took me out. So this just took out all my artifacts. It was really sad actually. So yeah, that card I'm kind of having some PTSD right now with. So I'm just looking at ways to like kind of protect my artifacts more often. And another card that came up actually that Roger was playing, which looked perfect, and was very resilient to the Bane of Progress, was this, the Dark Steel Plate. And this card is just awesome. And it's a 3-mana artifact. It slots in really well. The artifact itself is indestructible, and the creature that it's put on is indestructible as well. So I'm very excited for the Dark Steel Plate to be subbing that in. So a couple different upgrades here. I'm also going to be adding the Tarask, which is like a big dinosaur creature who comes down and like really just kind of handles the situation, gets in for damage. Also can like just selectively do some spot removal as well. So I'm very excited for the Tarask to kind of get into this deck as well. Yeah, I mean, so that's kind of the, I guess you would say the upgrades right now. I also added a bunch of 0-cost creatures to this deck, which are going to be really nice just for our board state. Oh, and then this would be my next cut, my last one. Like, the Oracle is a great card, don't get me wrong. But for me, like, this card is, it just plays lands off the top, and really I make a ton of mana already. And it's kind of nice to get through your lands, you know, in your library, but really this for me is just kind of medium right now in the deck. Whereas like an Augur of Autumn, for one less mana, I can play off the top of my deck and even perhaps play creature cards off my deck, which really just keeps the gas going. So Oracle, this would be what I'll substitute for the Tarask. So that's the cuts that I'm looking at right now. So out of these 5 here, I will be finding the Dowsing Dagger would be the first cut. Then the sort of Animist, Monster Manual, the Phyrexian, the 6-mana Phyrexian artifact that can, it's like, I think it's a 6/6 trample, so it's a good body, first of all. And it, like I said, it has those mana sinks where you can sink in like 5 mana at a time to protect your shit. So that's going to be really good for this deck. I always have lots of mana. I can hold up mana if I need to. I even have like cards like Bank Buster so that my mana doesn't go unwasted. So it's just going to be really solid. And then like another big creature in the Tarask. So that's kind of where the deck is at now. It's going to get a couple upgrades in the next couple weeks because I ordered the cards today. So very excited about that. Some of the other 0-mana artifacts that I picked up while I was at the shop. the other day. Let's just kind of check this out here so we can go through them. Oh yeah, so we picked up, this is not, so like what I want for my one cost artifacts is like draw, like a draw effect would be nice. This one's multifaceted, so I got the Pyrite Spellbomb. It's perfect for this deck. So one cost, and for one I could have a removal spell, which is nice. So it does, for one mountain I can just do 2 damage to any target. So like maybe a Birds of Paradise or something funny, maybe something to hold back somebody with. And at the worst, then I could also even just draw a card if I needed to by just sacking itself with Meria on board. So the Pyrite Spellbomb it acts like kind of like a chromatic star, which is just really nice for this deck. So we're just getting through here. Yeah, one of the players, Kevin, he was playing the Return of the Wild Speaker. He drew like 7 cards off of it. What a card. So good. Like, for all you green mages out there, of course, like, you're probably aware of this card, but if you're getting into EDH or even Magic and you want to get into Commander, this is just a great instant. It can draw you cards, or it can be a finisher. So like your non-human creatures you control get 3/3 till end of turn. So usually I think you're just going to be using it for cards, you know. For instance, if you're playing maybe Historic Brawl on Arena, you'd probably be using it 3/3 to just take out your 1-versus-1 opponent. But in EDH, you're just going to probably be drawing like a ton of cards with this spell. Oh, this is what I made my short on the other day. I was talking about the Kiki Jiki is back, baby. The Kiki Jiki. I got it. I got the Kiki. This card is so sick. I mean, everybody knows about this card. If you're playing any form of Magic the Gathering on your mobile app or at your local card store, this card is just so good. And even the dogs agree. It's just, woo! The Kiki Jiki, you get your Goblin Shaman on step 1. You get to go through your deck a little if you need to on stage 2 by drawing. You can discard and then draw as many as you discarded for up to 2. And then on stage 3, so this is a 3-mana card, by the way. It's totally fine. On stage 3, this flips over. And you get the reflection of Kiki Jiki. So in my going back in time during the Commander game I played, and I would have remembered that I could have protected this card before the next turn, and I would have been able to make a token copy of a Craterhoof Behemoth, and I would have effectively destroyed everybody with it. But hindsight is 20/20. And, you know, you learn from these games. What ended up happening in my reflection is Gary, the store owner, he ended up swinging a Tarask at me. And in doing so, he fought my Fable. He fought my reflection, and he killed it. And like I said, I did have 2 mana open from the previous turn. I did have a sword. I did have it on my commander. I should have at that point, with that, which is the 2 cost to equip the sword to a creature. I should have definitely protected my reflection of Kiki. So what happens with Kiki Jiki is that once it loses its summoning sickness, Ruby, stop! Once it loses its summoning sickness, you can pay 1 and tap it, and you can copy a non-token creature. It lasts for the turn. You get its ETBs, which means it's enter the battlefield triggers. And so, for instance, if I had casted my Craterhoof, and then I had copied it with the reflection, I would have had double Craterhoofs, double buffs. My whole board would have been, you know, I think I had like probably 4 or 5 creatures plus a bank buster. So I could have, I mean, I would have had like at least 10 power added to all my creatures with trample, and I would have definitely been able to finish off 1 or 2 players. There would be no doubt. So yeah, that's something. So I got the reflection of Kiki Jiki. It was well worth the $20 that I had spent for it. And I'm very excited about it. So yeah, let's see if I could find some of the other 0 cost cards I got the other day. I actually pulled this from a pack, a little shiny patchwork automaton last time I went to the same visit, my last visit from a Kamigawa. Look at this. A little shiny guy. And there's the sword, which is just, I just want this every time I'm playing this deck. I just really want to see this card. Sword of Fortune Frontier. There's the Dark Steel plate. I also picked that up. It's a little fancy dancy version, so I probably spent too much money on it, but it's fine. And this is a card I didn't draw last game, but I always want to see it. The Cityscape Leveler. Like, this is another, like, wow. Like, if I can draw this card on curve, like, play it, like, on turn 4 with Meria, this is just, like, such a sick card to have out. It just, like, just totally handles games. Just totally gets them going. So, yeah, the Leveler is fantastic. Cityscape Leveler. Okay, so this is what I picked up. I picked up a 0 cost 0/6. So it counts as a wall. So that's nice. I wanted more 0 cost. 0 cost artifacts are very important for this deck. So, of course, like the Mishra's Bauble. Bomat Courier really put in some work last game too. I think I hit with this like 5 times, and then I was able to sack it and draw like 5 cards. So that was really nice. Bomat really, really held its own for a 1-drop. It was just, was super killer. Luca also did some good work in that last game I played. Here's the Phyrexian Walker. That's another 0 cost. I've had that card though. This card is gone. I'm going to be taking the Construct out, the Bonding Construct. What I am subbing it for, I'd have to look at my Mox Field list, but I'll just have to remember this one's coming out. Heart of the Karen. Here's the Ornithopter, another 0 cost creature. And then let's see. I know I had a couple more that I got. There's Memnite, I believe, is one of them. Let's see, where's that? So yeah, I think I just picked up 2 0 cost creatures. I already had the Phyrexian Walker. I already had Ornithopter. So I picked up Memnite. Where is it? And I picked up the Shield Sphere. Let's see here. It's in here somewhere, right? Let's show you the Memnite. It's basically just a 0 mana 1/1. It's kind of wild, actually. Oh. Shield Sphere. Bomat Courier. Maybe I haven't sleeved it up yet. It's kind of weird. If not, then I'll have to definitely put it in. I know I bought it. Perhaps it is one of these cards here that's just chilling, and that's what I needed to sub out for my Bonded Construct. Let's see. Weird. Well, that's the end of the vid. Thank you, everybody. This has been fun. I saw people were watching my video. That's cool. The next video will be a Anawan video. So I actually recorded already. I thought the video that I made turned out pretty good. There's a couple funny moments. I kind of want to like shorten up the videos to a point though, so I might re-record it. But thanks for hanging out with me. Cheers.